Hi, this is Pete Ekman with the RoboZone Podcast. I got Jake here with me again, but we are post week 3. We're halfway through, Jake. Halfway through. So with that, I'll let Jake introduce himself. Go ahead, Jake.
Jake Hawley, head coach, team 7211, Hollywood.
And fellow rookies when we were rookies together, blah blah blah.
Oh yeah.
Go watch the other episodes. You'll get the gist. You'll get the gist. And we got the same haircut. Look at that. Like it was we
Yeah,
prepared
yeah.
for this. So
I shaved the night of our first comp. It's a kind of tradition. I don't shave for all of build season until we go to our first comp. So
okay, I don't do that because I can't grow facial hair. We don't need to visit that. Anyways, Jake. So the last time we had you on, it was reactions to week 0 because you were at
yep.
Kettering. Tell us about your first event. Where did Hollywood go? How did you do?
Well, we were at Kettering 2 for our first event. We went in just hoping to do well. A little bit behind the bullet. Took the practice bot to competition. Did fairly well. Ended up, I believe, in fourth place. Um, got uh, captained the third alliance, invited Chimeras and Waterford on with us, and made a strong run to the finals. So it was an exciting weekend. Learned a lot of things about the robot. Learned a lot of things about the game that you just don't really think of until you're actually there on the field. But all in all, got to see a couple really good friends while we were there, and got to help some teams that we're going to see at our next competition. So strong weekend, I believe.
Yeah, well, anytime you take home hardware, even if it's not a blue banner, it's a good weekend. So,
Yeah, yeah.
with your practice spot. So, I wanted to invite you because we were texting back and forth. You were looking for some wheels yesterday. And in that text string, you said, "We finally finished the comp bot." And I went, "What?" Knowing that you've already played a game. So
Yeah.
this teams that play or build practice or alpha bots, sometimes they call them alpha bots, and then build comp bots. So you have a brand new chassis and robot that you haven't played with, right?
Correct. We actually did our swerve drive programming yesterday for the comp bot. We have to grab all new set points because the hardware is a little different. Um, we have that left to right mechanism on our coral delivery so that we can center on the April tag, grab algae at the same time as we're placing, either left or right. So that really helped us out at the last comp. But you know, it's week 3. We watched those comps over the weekend. You know, the meta's changing, like we talked about in our last meeting. Everybody's pulling away from we just need to get that coral ranking point to now your second pick is going to be a strong algae bot.
Right, right. So let's dive into that because you said during your experiences with week 2 at Kettering 2 that you started to learn. Tell us about some of the things that you learned because we previously talked when you went to week 0, you said it wasn't a full-blown competition. It's kind of just, ironing
Oh
things
yeah,
out, right?
friendly skirmish.
Yes, good. That's a good one. Friendly scrimmage. So tell us what you learned in week 2.
Week 2. I'd say the biggest point that we learned in week 2 is effective defense. Week 1 we saw 11 yellow cards at one event. I believe Kettering won. Actually, uh, but it was all about defense. All those yellow cards. It was um, contact in the reef zone was the biggest penalty. If you weren't reading the rules, pinning rules have drastically changed since last year. So that was the second most common called yellow card at events in week 1 and week 2 was pinning. you got that 3 second count out after you let them go. You got to be that 6 feet away before you come back. And teams just don't understand that. So um, we effectively were shut down at one of our human player stations by the Alliance, the one Kettering too. Yeah, engineers and all, everybody over there. But uh, Clint always makes very strong decisions when they're picking teammates, and their defense bot knew what they were doing and didn't get any of those penalties and effectively shut down one of our human player stations. So then you get that congestion at the other station. So you have to be prepared to switch strategies there. We're seeing a lot more prevalence over the weekend with like dragons and everything doing really well as an algae bot. Everybody's starting to bypass that processing station and go straight into the barge. That way you're not giving up those extra points. So
If you can, there aren't too many robots that can do that.
yeah, yeah. That was something we tried to get on the robot when we initially started. We had a three-stage elevator set up, and we could put the ball in the barge. But weight restrictions. That 10 pounds, if we had that extra 10 pounds this year, that wouldn't be an issue. We would be running a three-stage and we'd be placing in the barge and all that fun stuff. But so now we have to, look at how we're going to change our LG mechanism. Can we get that extra 6 inches worth of loft that we needed to be able to get the ball into the barge? How do we do that? Um, whether it's changing how we deliver coral or what have you. Um, that's what we're really concentrating on now, and the uh, just the programming that it's available through the April tags and the limelights and everything, um, with taking a lot more of the error, the ease of path correction and path planner and stuff like that using the limelights. They're making it all very functional and easy for us to utilize those high-tech items that we have on the robots.
I am simply amazed at Path Planner that we don't use it yet. My coders said they don't have time to learn that right now. They're doing autons the old way, command based. And however they do it, they're doing it. So I'm not going to interrupt it, but we're going to take that in the off season to make sure we learn Path Planner because I saw some teams drawing paths at our week 3 event at St. Joe and just watching it on the field. And I'm like, there is an easier way, but you got to learn it. And learning it at an
Yeah.
event is not the way to do it, nor is it during the season. You have to do that before the season or in the off season. So we're going to do that. But it's amazing, and those types of tools that are developed and produced by FRC teams for other FRC teams is amazing. And limelights are awesome, but you need to know how to program them and you need to know how to do the acquisition and change your code to make sure that you can adapt to those April tags. And again, I think that's a big jump we'll see between this year and next year. Now that,
Oh yeah.
especially limelights are getting a little old. By old meaning there's more and more revisions to it. That means the older hardware, and this is where I'm going to plug the Red Alliance. I know you donated a limelight to the Red Alliance. I know a team that picked that limelight up very quickly, and we'll
Well,
utilize that. That's just a plug for the Red Alliance because I know there are 2 events that are collecting pieces for the Red Alliance this weekend.
yeah.
One of them is right down the road from me at Mason, and there's another one. I can't remember the name of it, but that's not my pickup location. Mine's for Mason to get that stuff. But thank you for Team Hollywood donating the stuff to the Red Alliance so that teams can pick that stuff up. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a great organization or initiative. Also, one of the kids pulled a hot glue gun out of the toolbox the other day, and it says 302 on it. I've had that since 2019.
That's what
You
Bruce
know,
is looking for that thing. He's like, where did that go? Now we
well, I
know.
have two of them, so if you're looking for them, that's where they ended up. But no, we've had such amazing teams help us out over the years, whether it be Ellen at Big Mo's. she was crucial to keeping the team together the first year.
OG
Um,
Ellen. Yes,
yeah, yeah. And then with Bruce and you and Tom and everybody, just it's a community.
it is.
I was
Amazing
talking with
community.
I was talking with Dave from TC Titans when I was looking for those wheels that you mentioned, and I'm just looking for black or red 35 durometer wheels, 2.25 from Andy Mark if anybody's got them. And it's all about the aesthetics of the comp bot, right? I have the green 35 durometers. They don't match the color scheme, right? But um, see, Titans are like, actually, we're looking for the green 35 durometers. Do you have any extra of those? And we had like 16 of them on last year's robot. So I had some spares, and we're going to meet up at States, and I'm going to give them some wheels so that they can keep on going because, I mean, you gotta give praise to these companies that we deal with too, like
Yep,
Andy Mark and Rev and Bex and Thrifty and everybody. Like it's hard to keep up with the demand of what 3,600 teams globally that need these specialized parts.
sure.
So it goes back to the Red Alliance, even that, where like these parts are sometimes hard to source. And I don't know, I like to be able to give back like everybody did to me.
Okay, enough of a plug for the Red Alliance. Tim will thank me. Sitting on his board. So tell me about other things that you learned. We talked about Reef. LG bots being important as a
LG
second pick if they can. I doubt you're going to find a second pick as an LG bot that can reach the barge,
Barge.
right?
Yeah.
But you may find one that can pick them up and at least get them out of the reef, which is, an impediment in itself in removing that type of thing. What else did you learn, Jake, at week 2 that you're going to take to week 5?
Um, this is our away comp, so we get to stay at a hotel, and the
Sure.
kids get to experience. They get that pool, and they're going to be able to take the college tour at Ferris. So, I mean, we're really looking forward to that. We got lunch tickets to go to the on-campus eatery so
The
they can
Rock.
experience.
It's called The Rock, and it is
Oh
the
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. They got a great spread there. Mongolian and
Yes.
Chinese and Mexican and pizza and Subway and like yeah, no, it's a great place to go. We went there in the off season for Rover Days and ended up coming in second. So we'll be able to come go up there with that a little bit. That trophy to throw on the shelf while we're at Ferris from the last time we were there. So that's always great. Um, uh, Things from week two.
Yeah. You
Like
said we
I've
talked
been
about
watching week two,
defense.
week three. Like
Yeah.
week three is really showing us like the importance of climbing. Um, you know, we watched a lot of matches where uh, it was decided by that one deep climb that happened. Um, we saw a couple instances where you get that bot that parked underneath the deep climb and it's touching, so it disqualifies. So, we always got to talk with our teammates about making sure that we're not in contact in end game, just so we don't nullify climbs and stuff like that. Um, Something Clinton from Engineers has always told us if we ever are on an alliance together is to never set your controller down until the game is over. Because if
True.
you throw that controller down, it might act something weird and the robot turns and does something that you don't want it to. So, I mean, there's all those little things that you
I
pick
would
up
never throw a controller, Jake.
or set it down either way, but gently as we treat all of our controllers at the end of a match.
Oh, I've seen some controllers not gently, depending on if they won or lost the match. I've seen some interesting controller moves. We'll call them controller moves. But that's a good point, right? In week 2, we did not climb once on purpose because one, we weren't ready. Two, we weren't confident in that lifting mechanism. It was taking too long, and we could provide the teams with more points or the alliances with more points by keeping and scoring L4 or L3 all the way through by the time it would take us to climb. Now that's going to change for week 5 because we're like you. Week 5, we're going to Kentwood, and climbing is going to be a necessity. if you want to be ranked very high and win those coveted ranking points, you need to do that. I think this strategy, like you said, is changing week to week. I think this week is probably the hardest comps we're going to see. I mean, there's some doozies out there. There's Troy, there's Mason, there is the Western Michigan one, and there are a lot of power teams going, and Saline, there are a lot of power teams going to these events. By power teams, I just mean highly competitive. They did really well in their first events, and just we're going to see what happens. One of the reasons that we chose to move our comp because we were going to Saline and
right?
we moved to Kentwood, where we almost won last year. We were runners up last year. So, but if you look at strategically, you have to make the right decision to try to win, try to make states, right? That's one of the goals, at
Yeah.
least one of our goals. So,
Well, it's
always.
always a goal of a team to make states here, Michigan, further than that, qualify for Worlds, whether you get to go or not. But it's always been our goal. We're one of the fortunate, I believe, 9 teams left that have never missed states. Um, so that's a coveted title we have. So I,
Knock
I
on
believe
wood.
we're like, yeah. Uh, I believe we're about on average about 7 district points out from qualifying for states at the low end. So
Okay.
we're confident that we
What do
should
you
be
think the
able to.
cutoff is? So this is
We're
this is
about
a good.
65. It's historically between 62 and 68, depending.
It was interesting last year. I thought it was 57 last year. I thought it
Yeah,
dipped. Um,
yeah.
but
I mean, it
people
might have last year.
people
But
outside of Michigan don't realize this. If you're not in the district system and you are in a regional system, us in the district system in Michigan, we get district points. You get 2 points for a win, a qualifying match win, and so on and so forth. And the math is always, weird. There's no cutoff. It's a roller coaster every year. We don't know where it is until like week 4-ish, 5-ish,
right,
right? And then sometimes, like my team's going to try to qualify at the last thing, and then we have a week turnaround. Like you, will be,
yeah,
7 points out. You've never missed. Knock on wood again. Knock on your head again. Make sure that that happens. We wish you luck, and hopefully they continue that streak. But my team,
I
there we
actually
go.
have a little wood laser cutout that we did just in case.
But my team has never been to states, Jake. This is only my second year on this team, but in their
Right,
14-year history, they've never qualified for states. So the kids are very excited because we did pretty well in our first event that they want to go to the second event and try to make states. So they're very excited, and that's kind of cool. It's rare to see that too. See a team that hasn't made states in its history. So
right.
always lofty
Well, I mean,
goals to make.
states has only been around for 9, 10 years or something like right there. So
Yeah,
Uh, I've never experienced the regional model where some people have. So,
right.
um, it's nice there. But like you said, we've got some exciting comps to watch this weekend.
We do. So who is at week 5 with you? Who are some of the teams besides Hollywood that we're going to want to pay attention to?
Well, we'll talk about some of the higher, like you said, more of the notable teams that
Mhm.
everybody might recognize, and we'll be joined by both the Martians, 70 and 494. Um, One to watch that did really well at their first comp, NC Gears. Um, we're going to be seeing Hamity Hawks. That was
Okay.
a team that was at Kettering 2 with us. Another one of those, they showed up and their robot, the programmers were having really hard time. It was a chassis bot, programmers having a really hard time. A whole bunch of teams joined up, whether it was engineers or Waterford or us. And, it's the community, right? So, by the time day one ended, we had them driving because they had decided to switch to swerve drive. And just, that's a complicated thing to try to do at the beginning of season. So, fortunately, we had some really smart kids around, and they were able to come over and give them that. Um, Hollywood brought a kit bot
Okay.
that we took to RI3D, and we modified that bot and got it on their robot for them.
Okay.
We strapped a climber in a box on their bot, and by the time playoffs came around, they could score on the L1, and they could climb a shallow cage or a deep cage.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well,
the high one, whatever it's
yeah,
called.
shallow. Yeah, you
Yeah,
got it.
okay.
It's the shallow
Yeah.
cage. I haven't seen many shallow climbs this year, actually.
No, no,
More
but I
deep.
mean, it was a strategy that we used at RA3D, and that worked out. So, we wanted to be able to give that to another team. Unfortunately, we'll be able to see them at our second comp and see how they've progressed with their programming and their driving and everything. I know that Martians had helped them out too.
Yep.
Um, so,
Do you know that there's a
but
fun fact there? Do you know that the head coach for the NC Gears and the head coach for 494 and 70 are brothers? They're the Tembrink brothers,
oh,
and
okay.
they have an internal competition with each other to design the best robot each year. I know this
Oh, that
because
would
I
be
was on
fun.
that team, and I found it very, very entertaining to watch two brothers that have done this since the beginning of it, like since the beginning of the first competition. They've been doing it for 20 plus years each. So I thought that was kind of cool. That's kind of like the crescendo, to use last year's, game, to see two brothers that both take teams, compete at high levels, and do the joking back and forth. Hey, I got you on that
Oh,
one. It's kind of fun. The Tenbrink brothers. They'll email me or they'll message me as soon as they see this. So
yeah.
it'll be fun.
Well, we have that great camaraderie with a whole bunch of other teams. We paired up with Chimeras at Kettering too. They're one of our most favorite teams to be at events with. We won Troy 2 years ago with them. We won a couple off seasons. If you, they're always coming out with a new website. So they got FRC Rival or something like that,
Yeah.
where you can put in two teams, you can see how many times you competed against or with, and if you put the stats in, Chimeras are, I think like 40 matches we've played together, and
Wow, that's kind of
that's just
cool.
a lot. So,
I'll have to look that one
um,
up. I didn't know that was the thing. FRC
yeah,
rivals.
yeah. I mean, they're always coming up with something. I mean, we got Statbotics that gives you all
Oh
those
yes.
kind of like insights and everything, and gives you your state, country, and world rankings. I always love to take a look at those and see where you're standing with everybody, especially watching some of those crazy competitions like Sacramento, and Silicon Valley, and all that fun stuff over the weekend that we had the pleasure of being able to see.
Well, we saw some world records because of defensive points provided to the other alliance.
320 something.
Yeah, so 279 I thought I saw. I was like, that's where you said you led in the very opening of this episode. Make sure you read the rule book and make sure you talk to your alliance partners and make sure they don't go where there's only two protected zones this year and they're very small. So it's amazing that 11 yellow cards got given out in a comp just based on that fact, right? So, it's live and learn for their
That
second.
that that's a true statement. Read the rule book. We lost a match because of a rule that everybody overlooked, and that is you cannot eject coral outside of your reef zone. You cannot toss, throw,
Yeah.
project. Yeah. So uh, we had somebody that was like, okay, end game, get rid of this coral, go climb. They were
And
playing defense.
and they ejected it to the wrong
They
area and
ejected it. We got a major foul for it and lost the match because of it. So,
ouch.
it's those little things. Like I zip tie my battery connector together every time because one time I got hit in a playoff match and my battery disconnected. Yeah, it's one of those things. Live and learn. Never do it again. So,
Zip tie every time. Zip tie every
yep,
time.
yep. It's
Yeah.
part of the checklist before it goes on the field. Is the battery been changed? Has it been zip tied in place?
Have we put the right battery in? Is it
Yeah.
charged? All these little things that you don't realize until you lose a match because you browned out because the battery, someone forgot to change a battery. So,
Oh. Yeah.
It's checklists. Checklists are awesome, and they're always used by the teams that really take this seriously. Checklist, make sure everything's changed
Yeah.
out after every match. So I'm still telling my kids, consistency, consistency, consistency. Teams do this. Go
Yeah.
watch the teams.
And it's something we do whether we're at our practice field or we're on a competition field or we're just in the community displaying the robot. It's like it's a standard that we have across all boards. That way, it's never overlooked in one situation. It's something that's just required to be done at every time. So,
Anything else, Jake, that you want to bring up for teams that are watching this going into week 4 or prepping for week 5 for the same events you and I will be at?
um, if you didn't read the first team updates, there will be no choral number change for district competitions. So we will not see the choral ranking point have to go to a higher number when
Hmm.
we're at states. So that was something interesting that I noted out of the team update. And, um, you know, it's we just watched week 3.
Right.
We've seen our first full reef.
Yes.
Okay. Um, that means that these games going into these week 5s and states and worlds and stuff are going to be decided by the number of algae you put in that barge. If you can go and take 2 of the algae from the other team, they cannot outscore you.
This is true. That's a good point. Did you get that from Clinton? Because that's something Clinton would come up with.
No, no. But I mean, we are utilizing Kettering and running out there on Saturday to do a little autonomous programming. Clinton's
Okay.
always very gracious to let us come out to the robotics center out there at Kettering. So
That's something, Jake. I know that we just went to Strike Force. I'm not name dropping. I'm just saying they have a
yeah,
full field and they invited us. So we went and did our autons because our half field was measured wrong, and we want to make sure that it was more precise, uh, like a real field would be. And we know, and we got invited, so we went out there. And thanks to Corey and Strike Force for allowing us to come out there and we got them dialed in. And I told the coders, do not touch any of these measurements, period. Don't touch the first and
right.
second autons we have written. You can write 3, 4, 5, 100, I don't care. But 1 and 2, you are not touching
Yeah,
because they're dialed in. So,
it's one of those rules we kind of follow at competitions where we don't push new code during playoffs.
especially playoffs, especially playoffs.
Yeah, we
Seriously.
can tweak the autonomouses all you want during
Yep.
quals, but when it comes to playoffs, you're not touching what the robot has on it.
Nope.
So
Jake said all teams don't change your code during playoffs. Write that down. It's important. It is. It's very
again, one
important.
of those things where you live and learn. A bad code push during a playoff match and your robot doesn't move.
That's bad.
It's bad.
That's bad. That can haunt you. That could haunt a team,
Mm,
really.
yeah.
So, all right, Jake. Well, thanks for giving us a half an hour of your time prepping right in the middle of getting your comp robot done in week 4 to compete for week 5. Again, who are you? How do we follow the team as you sign out?
Jake Hawley, head coach on Team Hollywood 7211. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram. We have a website out there, I believe, that should be up and running again shortly. Got to update some things.
Yeah, it's comp season.
We're from Holly, Michigan. Um, and yeah,
Yeah.
you'll be able to find us at Ferris in week 5.
Oh, and we wish you all the luck. But I would if Jay's gonna watch this, so good luck to the Martian teams.
Yeah.
You have a soft spot in my heart. That's where I started. But good luck to all the teams that are competing in week 4 and week 5, Jake, including you.
Yep. Good luck on yours.